Joining and to this introduction webinar to the Reclaim the Economic Action Week. My name is Lena. I'm the participation advisor at Earth for All, and I am one of the people behind this. And I will pass the mic to my partners in crime, Frances.
Hi there, thanks so much everyone for joining us. I am Frances, I'm based in Glasgow and I work for the Wellbeing Economy Alliance as comms co-lead, so organising this week with Lena and Lisa. And I'll pass to Lisa.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa. I'm also in Scotland and also part of the Wellbeing Economy Alliance global team, but can't take as much credit for all of this as Frances and Lena, who have been working incredibly hard on all the plans that you're about to hear about. Okay, so
Thank you, Lisa. So just a couple words on the Reclaim the Economy Action Week. So this action week takes place from the 26th of January to the 1st of February next year. That is the week right after Davos, so the World Economic Forum meeting. And it is really intended as a new unbranded global moment for us to unite to demand economies that put people and planet first. So the idea is for all organizations that feel like they are aligned with our message to bring in their own campaigns, their own messaging, their own projects under this big moment so that we can all at the same time demand a different economy that works for people and planets. And to tell us a bit more about Action Week and why it helps the general stirring of our economies and society towards a better future, I would like to introduce our opening speaker, Amanda Janoo. Amanda, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. So wonderful to see you all here. I've always been an optimist, and really always believed in the goodness of people and that a lot of the evils in our world are because we've designed these systems that really encourage and reward selfishness and greed rather than reciprocity and care, and really saw the world as this complex Venn diagram with all these various social, political, ecological, and cultural issues, and believed that somewhere towards the center sat the economy, and that if we could change this system, it would really ripple out and improve all other areas of life. And so it was for this reason, I think, with starry eyes, that I first took my economics class and was really immediately quite annoyed and confused because I wanted to understand how the economy worked, but also how you changed it. And all I really found was a lot of graphs and jargon and old white dudes talking about stock market fluctuations or GDP growth rates as if they mattered more than life itself. And that was really the beginning of my now decades-long love-hate relationship with economics, as I really think that one of the greatest tricks that have been played on humanity is to present the economy as some boring and abstract force out there beyond our control, when the reality is that we are the economy, and so we can change it. And this passion is what led me to work for over a decade as an industrial policy expert for the UN, because at the time it really felt like one of the last bastions against neoliberalism, or this hands-off approach to the economy that was perpetuating colonial trading patterns and exploitation of so many communities in around the world. And it's what led me ultimately to WEAll and also to return to the US, because I recognized that my country was the major architect of this unjust and unsustainable global economic system. But I gotta be honest, y'all, this year has been like the hardest of my life, as I'm not feeling particularly optimistic, and that has really caused quite a bit of an existential crisis for me. Because in this moment, I'm not feeling a lot of hope. I'm feeling quite a bit of anger, where I'm angry about the rise of fascism and the growing threat of world war, because we really don't have time for this shit. Like, our planet is on fire, and that should really be the primary focus of all of our attention. And I'm angry because I don't really know what the point of all those Holocaust movies was if we can't see the writing on the wall when our government builds a bunch of concentration camps and starts abducting people off the street and sends the military to occupy our capital and cities. But most of all, I'm angry at myself, because I believe I was born in this moment in history for a reason. and I don't feel like I'm doing enough to stop it. And I think the reason, I can sure many of you feel like you're not seeing the mass mobilization you'd expect in the US. And I think that's because the story of our time has been this apocalypse myth. We see it in the sort of crypto libertarian philosophy of people like Peter Thiel, who accept mass extinction as this pathway to some feudal techno state. And we see it and hear it from white Christian nationals who are celebrating climate disasters and Palestinian genocide as signs of the second coming of Jesus. But I also hear it from my fellow leftists who believe that once our economic and political systems collapse, a socialist utopia will emerge, or from environmentalists who call for mass population reduction as a necessary sacrifice for planetary health. But I refuse to accept the level of death and destruction that is implied in this vision. And so I will stay and fight for the sacredness of all life until the day they come for me too. And many have commented on how we got here. The left blames big business, the right blames government. But I think many of us at this point, at least in my country, realize they're one and the same. So Benito Mussolini once said that fascism should more appropriately be described corporatism because it's a merger of state and corporate power. And by that definition, we've been on this train for a while now. So with economic growth as our North Star, we accepted government's role as a henchman of private sector interests and went about encouraging and rewarding the large corporations, investors, and tech entrepreneurs who are viewed as the most efficient at driving this growth, and removed them from democratic oversight, trusting that if left to their own devices, the profit and wealth they generated would benefit us all. With Democrats, in my country at least, promising, or Republicans promising it would trickle back down, and Democrats promising to take some of that wealth through taxes to fix any of the major damages done to people and planet in the process. But now, obviously, neither of these scenarios happened, which is how, in our world now, 10 billionaires control more wealth than 50% of the global population. And in the richest country in history, the United States, 60% of Americans can't afford basic needs like food, housing, and medical care. So when we are faced with the options of authoritarian nationalism or continued corporate globalization, the majority of Americans opted for the former, and who could blame them? We weren't really offered a compelling alternative, a system of genuine self-determination, where we had a voice over our livelihoods and collective destinies, and where we do not need to hope for the benevolence of a dictator or a billionaire to ensure our economic security, but can design systems to advance our collective well-being by initiatives genuinely governed by the people and for the people. And I know that this situation is nothing new for many of you, and you're all too familiar with the standard fascist playbook of scapegoating immigrants and the most vulnerable for the pains brought by laissez-faire capitalism. And I want to really genuinely apologize for the pain and insecurity created by the US, as I know that many of you have lived through dictatorships propped up by my government, had your people and environments exploited by our multinationals, and economies destroyed by reckless speculation of our financiers. But when I moved back to the US, I knew that we were in the final days of empire, but I didn't really expect that we try to take the whole world out with us. And at this point, the financial and corporate giants have unleashed far beyond the control of any one government or country to be able to regulate alone. As the threats we face are now global, the threat of world war and ecological collapse, because our global economy is now governed not by nation states, but by a handful of multinational corporations and private equity firms. And that can feel so overwhelming, and it can be easy to feel powerless in the state of that huge concentration. But history has shown time and again that against all odds, networks of committed individuals can catalyze movements that change the world. And the reality is that we're in this together, whether we like it or not. And if resistance is built in hope, I hope that this Reclaim the Economy Week can be a beacon of hope that can inspire action in my country and across the world. As I think that one of the greatest barriers at this moment for not only inspiring the type of collective action needed, but also to transform our global economic systems and the global institutions that influence its shape and form is our own imaginations. We often fall back on the same conceptual silos of debt, trade, finance, etc., because we clearly see them as problem areas and therefore work towards their reform. But in this moment, I'd call on us to expand our imaginations and start from first principles, and to ask ourselves questions like, what connects us across space and time? How can we produce and provide for one another on this planet in a way that celebrates the richness of our own unique cultures, whilst protecting our right to self-determination in ways that maintain peace and honor our inherent interconnection on this planet? And let us allow ourselves to envision a world without nation states and these painted colonial boundaries, and to imagine systems of interconnection rather than dominion. Let us challenge grotesque concepts like the labor market or natural resources, and recognize that people and planet are not commodities to be bought and sold. And let us celebrate our role as caregivers, stewards, and creatives, not for their monetary value, but for the happiness and the well-being they bring. And let us stand together against this global concentration of wealth and power and redesign our institutions so that it never happens again. Let us make this movement irresistible by centering compassion and joy and welcoming all of those who are willing to fight for the sacredness of all life on this planet. As even in this moment where my optimism is being challenged, I still believe that once we realize we are the economy, we will realize we can change it. And when we change it, we might just save the world. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Amanda. Really, really inspiring stuff. And I know you're not feeling well as well. So thank you so much for sharing your time and wisdom with us today. Yeah, so picking up from there, Reclaim the Economy Week. So yeah, our goal is really to create this new annual moment where all eyes are on redesigning our economies, thinking big. So we know people around the world are hungry for economic systems change, and there are so many of us practicing, modeling, advocating for economies that put people and planet first. But we want to make this visible and really make sure we're reaching the broadest possible public audience, and to really get it on the agenda of politicians and the media, so we're not just kind of speaking to the converted. Thanks, Lena. Thanks, Lena, if you could just... Oh, I think that's... maybe we're missing a slide. Oh, no, sorry, that's the one. So yeah, there's no one size fits all model for what a life-centric economy should look like. And that will be reflected in the week. Whether you're talking about donuts, degrowth, indigenous economics, human rights economics, we'd love for you to take part, bringing your own campaigns, framing, and events to the week. We'll have a map on the website where you can upload your own activities or campaigns for people to find. And if you're joining us from an organisation working on economic change, we'd really encourage you to think about how you can use this moment to really engage new audiences, reaching out beyond the people who ordinarily listen to you, and doing what's appropriate wherever you are in the world. So Lena will share a bit more on this shortly. We will create a petition as well, drawing in key demands from economic systems change advocates, so that we've got an easy, accessible action for people to take. And it gives us an opportunity to show our collective strength, us all coming together with this one shared message for a new economic paradigm. And we'll produce videos and lots of social media templates that you're really welcome to use for social and traditional media to help us really cut through the noise with this message during the week. But of course, you're really, really welcome to, put out your own content, create your own content, the more the merrier. And at the moment, the website, I think I've dropped the link in the chat, is available in English, but we will soon have it in Brazilian Portuguese and a Spanish version. So I'm now going to pass the mic to Matías Lara from the 50% to share an example of some work that he's been doing that we thought would be a fantastic example of the kind of thing you might want to think about doing for the week. Thank you, Matías.
Thank you very much for the floor, and thank you, Amanda, for your inspiring words. I was kind of thinking on what gives me hope, or how to keep it nowadays in the middle of the challenges. I'm from Argentina, so maybe I'm not aware if you have been seeing the news in the US regarding Argentina, but we're about to get into a deep crisis, having a massive debt with the government of the US, just because Trump is a great friend to the extreme rightist president we have in here. So as you've said, they're kind of holding together and bringing us down to doom, while bringing a speech of hate up. But I was kind of wondering how to keep hope in the midst of all of these. And I have a background, so I don't know how much you're gonna be able to see him, but this is Vigo, and he's my 4-month son. And if I would have to say I need to have hope for something, it's because I need to believe that a better world is possible for him. So regarding that, over the years we've been doing some work that's centered for youth. Thank you for this. This is a picture from a workshop we ran at ELCOI Argentina during 2023. This is a work we did together with Earth for All and the 50%. We developed a workshop that has this deck of cards. As you might see, there's on the table of the girl with the white shirt. And there are a couple of cards that serves as kickstarters for conversation. They're a way to allow everyone to start speaking not only about themselves, but also about the things they all care about, and find the ground where we can agree on the things that needs to be changed, and also presenting some questions that leads to the way of thinking systemically on the problems, like how does the economical problems connect with the political and social problems in your own community. And actually, just to share how this was not only a workshop in an event, but also something that grew over time. After this workshop, we started thinking on the idea of a program that would allow us to put at least a little bit of systems literacy into young people, and that led us to what we call the Young Person's Guide to Systems Change. It's a handbook that we wrote along with a cohort of young people, in order to be able to have at least a first glimpse on what systems thinking looks like and what it means. We did it in a fun tone, with a slight mood that will allow most people to understand it very easily, and to have a grasp on the idea that we can all think in systems. There's no need to have a master's degree on a PhD. And that led us to keep doing these workshops. And right now we have a cohort of young people in Argentina. A couple of months ago, we launched a hub in Nairobi, in Kenya. We had the privilege and the opportunity to be in person in Kenya, in Nairobi, sharing with young people this workshop and starting a cohort there. And we're doing the same thing right now in Bangladesh, the Philippines, and Dominica, just now in November. So something that sparked as a light conversation on how the problems might interconnect to one another. It's leading to what we hope it's at least an initiative in different countries to think in systems and how young people can engage with them and try to change their communities in a more effective way. Thank you.
Thank you, Matías. And handing the mic back to Frances, who's going to present another initiative.
Yeah, thank you, Matías. Yeah, just really briefly, because Lucas, who was here on the morning call, wasn't able to be with us this afternoon, or morning Europe time. There's an example from the Wellbeing Economy Alliance hub in Scotland that I thought would be a really cool example of the kind of thing people might want to do. That's more like at the political level. So because they've got elections coming up shortly in Scotland, and I think that we heard on this morning's call, there's a lot of places where there's elections coming up. They brought together a really diverse range of their members to kind of co-create a manifesto. So they'd have a shared platform for what this new economy should look like in Scotland. And obviously, if you put in all the demands you might have, it could run to 100 pages. So what they did is they ran like in-person workshops where they decided, let's try and come up with 5 asks. And the way they organized these was to have one ask for each of the kind of well-being economy 5 needs. So dignity, fairness, purpose, participation, nature. Of course, you could use whatever framing you wanted for this yourself. And they organized people according to which area they were most interested in. And those people kind of sat at tables and like brainstormed like which are the policies, which are the big transformative actions the government could take that would make a biggest difference in this area. And each group would come up with about 3. And then everyone else at the workshop would have the time to go around all the different tables and vote on the ones that were that seemed most resonant to them. And from then, the team went away and kind of wrote that into a draft and then ran a series of online workshops to get further feedback on those areas. And they're close to having a final manifesto. And it just means they have this really co-created, broad, diverse group of people who have like one platform that they can say to the government, like, this is what a wellbeing economy or whatever framing you'd want to use, this is what this would look like where we are, and they can use that to campaign through the rest of the year. So yeah, I'll hand over to Lena for lots more ways you could take part.
Thank you, Frances. So yeah, absolutely. We do recognize that some organizations may be very experienced in leading these kind of events, but others may not be. So whether you are an organization or a concerned citizen who'd like to step in and do something for this Reclaim the Economy Week, we have put together a set of resources that support you in putting together an event, which can be, you know, from gathering just your community people, your neighbors, your family, to creating a big event within your community. So to access these resources, you can simply go to our website, reclaimtheeconomy.org, and then you will just go to the take part here in the corner. And if you scroll down here, you have loads of resources that some are uploaded, some will be uploaded in the next few weeks. But all of these, the idea is to get you started and just getting inspired for an event perhaps, but also a step-by-step guide on how to lead these events. Most of these resources are for guidance, meaning that there are ways you can tweak this facilitation guides and toolkits into fitting to your specific geographical area or an issue that you're specifically interested in. So all of these are very malleable, and you can use them again to join in this unbranded campaign with your own campaigns and messaging and organizations. So, for example, if you would like to replicate the event that Matías here was talking about, this is the community visioning event. So if you were to click here on the link, this will bring you to a facilitation guide. In this facilitation guide, you can find a step-by-step breakdown of how to lead this event, how to prepare it, what should you do before the workshop. So this is really a step-by-step guide on how to lead this. This card game that he was talking about is also fully changeable. So for now, this is in English. I believe we have a Spanish version as well. There are possibilities of inputting your own questions if you would like to steer it towards a specific topic or theme that you're interested in. So you can just fill in new cards and create them from there. So these are really just blank resources to help you create something that is really relevant to your own situation, to your own community, to the issues that you are interested in. Similarly, we will upload different resources. There will be some more politically orientated actions, such as the manifesto that Frances was presenting, versus there will be some that are a lot more publicly accessible and lower level, such as film screenings, but also reclaiming the economy through space, for instance, where you invite people to reimagine the spaces of the city. So this is about talking about the economy without fancy words to really make it accessible for absolutely everyone in your community. So we invite you to have a look through these resources. As I said, not everything is ready just yet, so we are still working on some resources. If you'd like to be kept in the loop, at the bottom of the website you can find a sign-up box, and through this mailing list we will update everyone as development comes on whether country groups are organized or sharing resources and new facilitation guides, new events, but also boosting your events so everyone knows what is happening and where. So yeah, we invite you to sign up to be kept in the loop and to make use of these free resources that are just here to help you set up events and get your community talking about these important issues. There we go. So yeah, your event can look a lot of different things. It is up to you. As long as it makes sense for you, it will make sense for the week. There are lots of ways we can reclaim the economy, and yeah, it is down to you how you want to shape it and what makes sense for you and community. Lisa, I am handing it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Lena. So hopefully everybody is getting excited for the Reclaim the Economy Week, and perhaps you already have some ideas. I know that some people here have been thinking about it for a while already, about how to align existing plans with Reclaim the Economy Week or something new that you might do. So for the rest of our time together, this is the interactive part, we're going to have breakouts for about 10 minutes with 3 or 4 people per room. And when we did this this morning, Europe time, we had some brilliant conversations, people just making friends, coming up with ways to collaborate. It felt very energetic. So hopefully you'll enjoy those conversations. Even if you don't have a clear answer to this question yet, it might spark something for you as you're speaking to others. So we'll do that for about 10 minutes and then we'll all come back together. So please do note down any ideas or plans that you have for the week, and also note down things that come up in your conversation that could help your plan or idea to be successful. Unfortunately, we can't promise that we can definitely solve every issue. This is a week that is happening with very little resource, but with lots of enthusiasm. But between us as the organising team and the wider community, then we want to support as many different ideas as possible. So bring your suggestions back. We'd love to hear from people verbally when we come back together as a bigger group. And then we'll also have time for any questions that you have for the organising team or for others on the call as well. So really looking forward to being in conversation with everybody. You'll be assigned to breakout rooms just in a minute. If you don't want to go into a breakout room, feel free to stay here with us in the main room, which you can do so silently, or you can chat to us instead. But I'd really encourage you to enjoy the time to connect with people somewhere else in the world who care about changing the economy just as much as you do. And don't worry if you don't have a clear answer to these questions yet. And we'll see you all in 10 minutes at 40 minutes past the hour.
Own idea,
This meeting is being recorded.
But for one, the Judy, who I just met, mentioned to me. So Judy has a really interesting journey in that she used to study systems theory in quite a detailed level, and is an author focused on, correct me if I get this wrong, Judy, an author who focuses on optimistic fiction, and is actually, where she lives, Porto in Portugal, a nice collective of those kinds of people. So she's thinking about holding an event to get those people together to share short stories of optimistic fiction, which we all know that storytelling helps adjust mindsets, which helps move systems. Well, maybe we don't all that, but those of us who studied anything about systems thinking are aware of that. So I thought that was a fantastic idea, and she was looking for help in how she spreads the word.
That's wonderful. Love that, Judy. And I can't see at first glance if there's anyone here from our hub in Ireland, but the WEAll Ireland hub has a cultural creatives community, and I know that they are actively thinking about how to work with artists and creatives around Reclaim the Economy Week. So even though you're in Portugal, I think maybe some sort of a subgrouping or connected group of people who are looking at the more artistic and storytelling and creative route that could support each other might be a good idea. So Judy, I'd be very happy to connect you with colleagues in Ireland, and there may well be somebody here. Wave if you are.
Thank you.
Hi, Mary. Yes. Great. So maybe you guys can connect in the chat as well. Anyone else want to share snippets of your conversation, ideas or thoughts or questions that you have thinking about the Reclaim the Economy Week?
Well,
Simon, who's listed here as Ian, but I know him as Simon, the man of many names.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't in any of the groups, and I was very moved by Amanda's presentation. And I think it came from a dark place and a worrying, it is indeed worrying times. But I'm thinking also that not to comfort Amanda necessarily, but I think reclaim the economy, and having Argentina and the US in the same call it can be a kind of depressing, a downer. But I'm thinking that reclaim the economy the week can highlight some of the positive, hopeful stories of alternatives, and that would also lend solidarity and hope to those that are struggling in the US and in Argentina and other parts of the world facing this sort of emerging authoritarianism and fascism. So just below the border where Trump is trying to build this wall, and we joke in Mexico, well, we'll get over it. And there is a much more hopeful story. The first woman president, in fact, in the whole of North America, leading a well-being movement. Then we have Nordic exceptionalism, which is sort of like since the World Happiness Report came out, has topped the rankings for many good reasons. And the well-being economy governments, as you know, have their own experiences. And I think there are also subnational experiences that we know well, that we can use to sort of tell a positive story, that alternatives are out there, and that provides more sort of hope, but also lends the idea that the alternatives are viable. I think that's an essential story to tell during Reclaim the Economy Week.
Absolutely, Simon. Thank you so much for sharing the hope from Mexico that certainly does exist elsewhere as well. So I think that's something that's really important about us being connected as a global community, right? We can't, like, many of us will be feeling despairing, not every day, but there are Amanda's speech and your emotions that you shared with us all so beautifully at the beginning. It's how a lot of people are feeling, but hopefully being part of this global movement, and then if we can all really feel that togetherness and harness that togetherness and the connection of our collective hope during this 1 week, I think that's what I'm really excited about for Reclaim the Economy Week. All right, we've got a couple more hands. Fabulous. Annelise, please, over to you. Annelise, are you wanting to come in?
All right.
Yes,
This
please.
helps. The camera is not working, but yes, the sound is working. So, no, I think it's a great initiative that we meet together sort of more worldwide, because we are in a worldwide problem. No, with economy, it's not only a country level thing. So I would hope that you would have the strength and the effort to keep this up like once a month or something. I was asking if there is a plan that what will happen, which are the steps until the week comes. And it would be great if you cannot every month, at least have continuous updates, and we know now what it is, because it is civil society that has to make the change. No, it's not the business. It's not it's the civil society, and we have to get organized and get it through. And this is powerful that we can do it, having connection worldwide. So, and I would also like to add, definitely, I mean, it's economic, the change of economy or change of what we are working for, the well-being, but it's cultural change also. I mean, it's part of it, because it's a consumer culture that is being developed, especially among the children and young people. And we also have to see how it can be a way of having the economic change working through cultural change.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Annelies. And in the earlier session, Annelies also made a great suggestion that we're going to follow up on, that there's a number of countries around the world with elections coming up next year,
Yes.
which might be able to use the Reclaim the Economy Week as a key moment in an advocacy strategy in the run-up to elections. So we're going to try to have something of a subgroup or connect those people who are thinking about the week as a stepping stone towards election influencing. So if that is you, if that sounds relevant to your country and your work, then please put your name in the chat, but we'll send an email around to the mailing list about that as well. We have elections here in Scotland, in Wales, there are people from New Zealand, part of the earlier call thinking about elections as well, Sweden, Denmark. So that's a non-exhaustive list, so please add your details to the chat if you'd like to be engaged with conversations about election influencing around Reclaim Week. Sorry, Matías has his hand up, but Frances, did you want to come in?
I was just going to respond to Annelies's question just on updates, because really good point about like what comes next. So we wanted to get this session out as soon as possible so that people can be really planning and know that it's coming. Those of you who are going to just, really run with this. But the next step is we're going to be finalizing some more resources. So you've got all the kind of toolkits you could possibly want. We've got things in different languages. So please do sign up to the email list. We've put the link here, but it just means you'll get like updates whenever new resources are available, and then when the petition is live, you'll have that and all the kind of template content for the week as well. And in terms of getting the message to as many people as possible about your events, please do as well. We'll have a map on the website, like an interactive map. So we'll let you know through the email as soon as that's live. And then if you can add your activity, however big or small, that means people will be able to find it. And also when we do press about the event, we'll be able to get more attention to what you're doing so that all of our kind of modest activities around the world add up to feeling like something really substantial. Thanks.
Thank you, Frances. Matías, you've been waiting patiently. Please, over to you.
Yes, thank you. No, I just wanted to make a comment because at some moment I believe it was Ian who said that it's kind of depressing to hear about Argentina and the US in the call. I wanted to step in and say that we're not depressed in Argentina. We have kind of the foot of the empire back in our neck. The US, it's about to step in and put a lot of money into Milei's government just in order to sustain it. But the people are racing. There's no evil that lasts 1,000 years, and there's I know that in every country there's a good lot of people that are willing to resist dictatorships and polarization and hate speech. Amanda at some moment said that she felt like she's not doing enough or that she's not doing much about it, but I do want to highlight that all of us, we're in this moment in Earth, and at least we have the courage to try. We're part of a generation, even if it's not the same generation agely speaking, but we're at the same time in here and we're brave enough to try, and all empires have fallen and this will too. Just wanted to raise that up because I felt like there was a very discouraging speech, and that's not the idea. We're trying to do a lot of things because we believe that we'll turn the tide.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. It's
Bravo.
Amanda said we are the economy, which is her motto, which I love. And also the name of this week is Reclaim the Economy Week, because we can and we will. We are the economy, and there in any place in the world, no matter what's going on politically, I really do believe there are more people who we'd agree with, who we'd share joy with, who we'd connect with. But a huge majority of those people don't think the economy has anything to do with them, don't understand it, don't think they can change it. And that's where we come in. And that's what's really exciting about next year. So thank you, Matías, for that. I really appreciate your intervention. We've got a few minutes left. Feel free to share any more words of wisdom, questions, ideas from your conversations. But also this is a moment for any questions that people have about the week. Yeah, sorry, Craig, please come in.
I was just, we discussed, I think it's really important that we make sure the message is more on the positive side about what we are creating than the bad things we're walking away from. Because, I mean, with Trump, I just turn off the news because I think we gotta stop listening to that. But we need to make sure that vision is really clear of what will be if we do this. So I think it'll strive. The research is showing that you need about the positives to be 3 times as powerful as the negative is to move people to action. So I think just telling the message that way would be a powerful motivator for a lot of people.
Yeah. Francis, our resident narratives nerd, do you have anything you want to say on positive framings?
Yeah, just absolutely couldn't agree more. So we really are using this moment to try and like really focus our minds on making really accessible, positive material that really shows what the economy could look like, rather than talking about specific aspects of it, which we often do, or talking about the problems, really setting out that compelling vision. So yeah, that's definitely our hope. And we will be doing like influencer partnerships, and we'll obviously have the petition and some sort of like hero videos in different languages. So there'll be some ready-made materials that you can use for that. Although we really do encourage people to kind of make your own content based on your priorities and where you are.
Can I say something here? Is it okay?
Of course, please.
Yes. Just want to give another perspective on this. I think all progressive and left-wing organizations are so incredibly positive and nice. What we need is to get more attention, to be more known, that more people are sharing in and seeing what we're doing. And I have another perspective on this thing. I think we need to make a clearer protest, not on small things that we do every day, but on the big thing. That's the new liberal way of treating economy is making life so difficult for so many people. That is what my project is about. We want another world.nu. I put it already in the chat. I really like to get a lot of critique, but I am emphasizing that making protest is also a way of getting people to see and hear us. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great point, and I think at Earth for All and WEAll as organisations behind this, but one of the reasons that this is an unbranded moment that is that we want it to be as broad as possible and with as many different activities and different messages that are all communicating the same thing, because ultimately we need a spectrum. There will be some people who are drawn to and feel a need for protest, but there will be other people who are turned off by that and are drawn to games or storytelling workshops or a community meal. So if this week can contain as broad a spectrum of activities as possible, then hopefully that also translates to more and more new audiences being attracted into this movement. So thank you for sharing your link. The chat is very busy, which is always great to see, and we'll be sharing the chat and the links from the chat along with the recordings afterwards. So Kate, you'd had your hand up. Did you still want to come in? We've got time.
I was just gonna say, yeah, actually, Mikhail was in our group as well as Oliver, and we were talking a lot about narratives and how the right and the left actually, when you look at the values behind their campaigns, really line up. So to make sure that, yeah, whatever each of us are doing to lean into those, so we can speak to both audiences, which I know is part of the plan, Francis. So yeah, just wanted to echo that.
Thank you all. Another brilliant conversation. I'm really grateful to everybody for your ideas so far. And I'm going to hand back to Lena to wrap us up, I think. Is it Lena or Francis?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
All right, but thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this information webinar. We hope you're interested in joining us and joining this, again, global momentum, really, and bring in your own community priorities, bring in your own community messagings. whatever you think is important to you, be it storytelling, being a manifest. There are loads of ways of really bringing attention to this economy issue we seem to be facing. So thank you all for joining us. You'll be able to get us to get in touch with us if you'd like. As Lisa mentioned, we'll be sharing the recording. If you'd like to go back to anything, there'll be loads of resources that are uploaded in the next few weeks. So make sure to sign up to the mailing list if you don't want to miss those. Lots of ideas have spread during the breakout rooms this morning and this afternoon right now. So there'll be lots of new projects being put up, which is really exciting. We love to see that there's so much traction towards this because it brings a lot of hope, I think, to a situation that otherwise would be a bit dire. So thank you all so much for joining us, and have a lovely rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.